Alright, what is up guys? So today is just a really quick video. I'm going to be showing you how to quickly configure a bind and fly plug and play quad in Betaflight. So here I have my GEP-RC Cinelogue 35 HD Performance. I'm just going to throw this in Betaflight really quick and show you a really quick setup of how I set this up in Betaflight so you can get out and go flying as soon as possible. So let's go plug this into the computer and I'll meet you there. Okay guys, so we're here in Betaflight. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my radio on so that way when I plug in my drone, it'll connect to my radio. So I'm not going to tell you how to bind your quad in this video because it depends on what receiver protocol you're using. I'm using ELRS, and so the way you bind that is you just plug in your drone 3 times. You go plug in, unplug, plug in, unplug, plug in, leave it in, and then you can bind through your remote. So I'm just going to turn on my radio right now.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Alright, so I'm just going to take my micro USB cable now and plug it into my drone. If this is your first time using Betaflight, you are going to have some drivers to let you do this. I'll link a video down in the description to help you know what drivers that is. So as you see here, I have my quad and I turn it, the accelerometer is working. So I'm just going to set it down like this. And I've already done this, I'm not going to do it, but you just hit calibrate accelerometer and that'll make sure your quad knows when it's flat. Now I'm going to have a couple extra options here. We don't really need it though, but you see up here you have enable expert mode. Those will disable and enable those different options here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to configuration. And the only thing I changed here for this is you can change your craft name. I'm just going to leave it at that. And so for arming, so this is the angle at which it'll allow your quadcopter to take off. So if, depending on what you have it set up, it might only let you arm your quad if it's perfectly flat. However, I disabled this by changing it to 180. So that way it does not matter how the quad is positioned on the ground, if it's sideways or whatever, it will always arm, which can be dangerous if you're holding your quad. So just be aware, if you change this, your quad will arm no matter what angle it is, but it also helps because if you crash upside down and you need to flip over, you will not be able to arm it if you don't have this set to 180. So set that to 180 if you want, and hit save and reboot, and now we're going to go down to Failsafe. So you just want to check your failsafe, make sure it's set up. So I have stage 1 and stage 2. So it'll give you these options. You can drop, if you have a GPS you can land. This is what I have it set to. I'm just going to leave it like this. So basically if I disconnect while flying, it'll just fall out of the air, which is perfectly fine with me. Now we're going to go to receiver. We'll make sure our receiver is working. So this is one thing you're going to have to change. Is down here in the channel mapping, you're going to have this selected right here, this spectrum, because if you choose like far sky, you'll have this channel mapping and you hit save. Now my drone's having a spaz attack and that's not how we want to set. I'm going to change this to spectrum and hit save. And now if you are plugged in and you have your radio connected, you can actually use your controls and see how it's working to make sure it's working correctly. Mine is. And so that's all we need to do here. And we're going to go to modes. So this is the most important part for setting up a bind and fly really fast. Is first we have our arm right here. So this is a slider we have right here, and it is based on our switches on our controller. So for arm, you're going to hit add range, and then you're going to flip the switch on your radio for the switch you want to arm your drone. And it'll automatically pick that one for you. So I have that as aux1, and this little slider area, whenever this is in that slider area, means this is activated. So right now I flip my switch, this goes into here, and now my arm is activated. So my quad is armed. So I'm going to disable that. So now I have my different modes of angled and horizon. So I hit add range and I flip the switch that I want to activate angle or horizon. So now I'd be in angle mode, I'd be in horizon mode. And if you're not in any mode, that means you're just in acro. So you don't have to worry about setting an acro, just make sure that you have one that's set to nothing and it'll be acro. The other thing I set is beeper, because if you crash in like a big set of bushes or something that might be hard to find, you activate the beeper and it'll help you listen to it as long as your battery didn't eject. So I activated my beeper switch. And the last one I have is flip over after crash. So this allows you, if you crash and you're upside down on top of a building or something, you're able to arm your quad and put it in flip over after crash and flip your quad back over. Or the way you do this is you unarm your quad, you make sure your arm switch is off, you put it into flip over after crash, and then you rearm your quad, and then you use the right stick to flick over your quad so it's right side up. And that is all you have to do to set up a quick plug and play or bind and fly quad. You don't really have to worry about any other of these things. The motor should automatically be working if you're testing them out. Make sure your props are off before plugging into the computer. If you're doing motors, you have to have your battery plugged in for the motors to work, but if you're doing a plug and play or bind and fly, your quadcopter should work automatically, and you should have to mess with this. So we're going to go to OSD. So this is different depending if you're doing digital or analog, because if you're doing analog, you can select any of these and have it show up on your on-screen display. However, if you're doing digital, not all of these will show up. For instance, this is a digital quad, and I have my RSSI and my link quality set up, but those are not showing because it is digital. But however, it'll show you the battery signals and also show you the angle or the mode of which the quad is in. So you can just go through here, turn on what you want. This is what I have. I have my battery average cell voltage, battery current draw, battery voltage, fly mode, link quality, RSSI dBm value, and warnings. So, and you can just click and drag those wherever you like, and it'll show up on your on-screen display. If you're using DJI goggles, you're going to have to go into your goggles and change it to a custom OCD setting so that way you can see these things. And once you're done, make sure you save after changing anything in here, and you're able to hit disconnect, and you're ready to fly. So if you're having troubles connecting to this, I'll leave a link in the description to a video showing you what drivers you need in order to get this to work. Anyways, I hope this helped you guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, a comment down, anything below if you have any questions. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.